All right, let's get this rolling. Let's get this rolling. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to look at the. Ooh, yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy August already. And I've gotten a number of notes from people all around the country, all around the world saying, where are you? Where are you? Because some of these folks don't do Facebook, so they don't know that I had to travel over to Minnesota and evaluate some machines. And then I also visited Mall of America while I was over there at the same time. I posted those on Facebook and showed you the aquarium and the mermaids and all the fun there. And then just a week later, if you've been watching the news, just a week later, they have some person with a gun that's shooting off rounds in the same hallways that I was walking with my customer that I had gone there to get that machine and evaluate some other machines too. So timing, right? Timing. Just a week earlier, I could have been in the mall when that person was bang, 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 bang. I don't know what their issue was. Some of you may have read that story even closer than I did, but I'm glad to be back safe at the workshop, getting back into the routine and getting back on a live stream again after almost a month of exodus, almost a month away. So it's good to be back in the saddle again. The focus of this live stream today is going to be a mystery shipment that came from Denver, Colorado. Let me show that to you. It's right over here. I've got to look at my little phone because I've got the screen changed. So this arrives from Denver, Colorado, and it's from a Maxwell. And any of you know right now that there's a movie out now kind of with a new spin of Maxwell Smart and all of that. So I see Maxwell right away and I'm thinking, Maxwell Smart sent a sewing machine from Denver, Colorado, but I doubt it's that particular person that did it. But along with showing this unboxing, I'm also wanting to do just a little teaser on this Centennial machine that I've been working on for a while now, getting ready for Elaine, who's going to present it to her granddaughter down in the great state of Mississippi. I'm trying to be able to see the screen to make sure I'm pointing in the right direction. So this particular machine, it doesn't take a lot of introduction. As soon as you see that Centennial badge, you know that it's a very special machine. These badge marks on the front of the machines really kind of set the tone from where that machine came from and when it came out. And obviously all of you know that in 1951, that was the banner year for Singer Sewing Machine Company, celebrating 100 years. So on the Rolls Royce of Singers like Elaine's here and a number of other Singer machines, they came out with this special badge mark. I'll get a little bit closer to it so you can hopefully see it, to celebrate that 100 years, that big milestone. And I don't know how old all of you are in the audience, where you are in your life path, but I am hoping to somehow, some way, squeak out and be around when they celebrate 200 years. You know, that's a ways out still, but they just celebrated, as most of you know, when we did that special giveaway for the 170th anniversary Singer machines that they did that were made in India. You guys remember those? And we ended up having our friend come to the workshop after she won the grand prize and was selected by the judges. Some of the judges that I'm looking at right now are in the audience right now and in the live chat. I see Sunny, I see Emma, I see Susie. Who else is in the audience right now? La 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 la. Oh, and I see Michelle as well. Michelle is also one of our future judges. I don't think she helped to judge that last contest, but she will future ones for sure. So, but yeah, the long and short of it is, we're going to do a little ditty with this Centennial 201-2, this Rolls Royce of Singer sewing machines. And if any of you are watching this during the live stream, or if you watch it afterwards, if you're saying, stop the presses, hold on for a second, buddy. Why are you calling this machine the Rolls Royce of Singer sewing machines? What is that about? Well, those of you that follow the channel already know the answer to that. From 1948 until around 1952, Rolls Royce Motor Company over there in England used this type of 201 and 201-2 specifically to sew the interior leather panels of their luxury automobiles. And that's why, just as a teaser today during this live stream where we're going to focus on this unboxing from Denver, Colorado, I'm going to set the 1812 Overture up, and we'll just do a little bit of a sewing in circle on this saddle grade leather. And this saddle grade leather, again, came in a big bag from Emma down in Naples, Florida. She saw it at a place where they have remnants they sell in bags to customers that want to have little remnants like this. And she said, I know Scott can use this. And I've used it multiple times. And we're going to be using it again today on Elaine's Centennial Singer 201-2. So all of that blah, blah, blahing, I'm going to let the audience choose. All of you right now in the live chat, some of you that are maybe sitting in the wings, and I'm going to let you choose. Do we do the sew off on Elaine's Centennial 201-2 first? Do we launch this live stream after me being quiet for a whole month? It's a miracle, me being quiet for a whole month. Are you kidding me? So do we launch this live stream with Elaine's 201-2, or do we move to the focus point right away? And do we try to figure out what came in this mystery tote from Denver, Colorado, from Maxwell? Again, maybe it's Maxwell Smart. I don't know. But I'm sometimes curious if that was really a real person. I watched it. All of us watched Maxwell Smart growing up, probably. And, I don't know, maybe he sent a sewing machine. You never know. So I'll let you guys pick. You can pick, what do we launch with? Yeah, I missed you too, Michelle. Yay. Yeah, I agree, Sonny. I'll go back over here again. This is a beautiful Centennial machine. And obviously, as I was preparing this Centennial machine for Elaine, and most of you know the story of Elaine from Mississippi. She's a grandma, and she says, I'm getting along in age, and I really don't have some special heirlooms that I can give to my granddaughters. My granddaughters are just amazing. They're magnificent. They are like the jewel of my eye, or whatever that phrase is. I always get it wrong. But she just adores her granddaughters. And she said, when she called me from Mississippi, she said, Scott, I want to have something that I can leave behind as a living legacy, that grandma absolutely loves her granddaughters, and that they're going to be able to carry on the sewing tradition that our family has enjoyed for generations. Yeah. So she said, what do you got? What can we do? And I don't want something low end, entry level. I want something classy that my granddaughters are going to look at for generations to come. And, my granddaughters, grandchildren someday will look on these machines. And so she ended up picking what else other than the Rolls Royce of Singer sewing machines. And Paula talked about this on Facebook a little bit. She said, oh my gosh, any machine from the Cow Country workshop in Oconto, Wisconsin is a treasure, any machine. But for Elaine to pick the 201-2 and then also pick the 222K, I only had a couple of 222Ks. I got one more left. So if anybody is saying, I've already got a bunch of featherweights are great, but wouldn't it be awesome? Wouldn't it be awesome to have the featherweight of featherweights? What myself and my buddy
Alex Askroff over in England referred to as the queen of singers, the 222K. And I'm going to be working on that next for Elaine after we eventually do a full premiere on this 201-2. We're just going to do a little teaser today, just a little teaser. So I've got to look at the chat now and see what all of you decided. Do we start with the 1812 Overture and do this 201-2, or do we move right away over to Maxwell's Mystery Machine from Denver, Colorado? So I'm going to leave it up to y'all. I'm going to set the camera down. Oh, I got to show you guys something else real quick. I got to show you something else. You saw this if you do Facebook. You saw this already if you do Facebook, but if you don't do Facebook, you didn't see this already. I got to turn this over a little bit so I can get a little bit closer. I love this new live streaming camera, but it's got a shorter cord and it drives me nuts sometimes trying to get to be, where I want to be. So this is our little playroom sign here. You guys have seen this before. We highlight some of the fundraisers that we've been involved with, like the Willy Wonka one that we did recently for the Humane Society. We highlight the one that we did for the History Museum folks down in South Bend, Indiana. And now I've got even another special thing I can add to this little sign area. Making sure the camera's pointing the right way. I think it is. I've got this really special wrought iron Cow Country Workshop sign that came from Naples, Florida. It actually came from somewhere else, but that was the giver of this really cool gift of Cow Country Workshop. I've never had an official workshop sign before, and this is really a beautifully cut wrought iron piece that Emma sent to the workshop. She said, "You need something official to recognize this space as the Cow Country Workshop." So that's what she did. And she had previously sent Peter Pan and Tinkerbell and the Phoenix. We talk about bringing machines out of the ashes and giving them new life, giving them greatness. That's kind of what the Phoenix represents. And then you guys know these already. These came from Roz out in Michigan, a really fun Singer car. And then also this FOF car as well that she sent. They were actually on another YouTube channel. Somebody had them like on display when they were showing their videos and presenting their videos. And you might remember that Roz contacted this person and said, "How much? I want them. I want them for Scott's Workshop, for the Cow Country Workshop that you can see right here." So many generous people, and a number of you have sent special thanks to the workshop. Susie, who's in the live chat right now, sent that great hand cream that keeps my hands silky smooth through the summer, through the winter, through everything else. And a number of you have sent gifts. And I'm so grateful. I'm so humbled by your generosity. So, at any rate, blah, 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 blah. Let me set this down. Kind of just pointed that direction for right now and see what you guys voted on. See what you voted on. And if the moderators and following the live chat, if you could just save me some fun time and let me know what you guys decided as far as, are we going to do the 201-2 first, or are we going to launch right into unboxing? I'm looking at the chat. I don't see anybody voting officially. Yeah, an official shingle. That's a good way to put it, isn't it? I love the way Sonny wrote this too. Sonny says, "Perfect memorabilia." Absolutely. Yeah, and Susie. Okay, so two for the 201. So that's what we're going to do then. We just had kind of like a fun little Greek song on. I'm loving this music. I typed in the search word dance, and I actually was going to open this up with a little bit of dance. My buddy Dan over in Hawaii, that we also sent a 201-2 to him in Hawaii probably almost 2 years ago. he says, Scott, we don't see you dance enough anymore, man. You got to get up and dance. So I got to remember that. I got to get up and dance. All right. So let's do Elaine's 201-2. That's going to be for one of her granddaughters. And I'm embarrassed to say I don't even know what her granddaughters' names are. I got no idea. So, all right. So let's bring the camera back over this way now. Yeah, this camera cord is long enough. This camera cord is not long enough. I got to move this a little bit closer over. Hold on, guys. All right, I think I've got enough reach now. I think I do. And those of you that were at the opening of this, you can kind of see how I'm dressed. You kind of see how I'm dressed today. I've got one of my Puma shirts on, and I've got shorts. Bet you the camera, I'm looking at that, it's gonna, yeah, I've got shorts on because in Wisconsin today, it's gonna be over 90 degrees. We don't get a lot of 90-degree days in Wisconsin. And I've talked with a number of you kind of offline about some of the crazy temperatures we've been getting in Wisconsin. I don't know if well, let me ask it like this. I don't know if any of you are global warming folks or not, but it's definitely warmer here than it usually is. So that's for sure. All right, let me get this saddle grade leather kind of into place, and then I'll get our 1812 overture music queued up. Let's see if I can turn this just a little bit. And the beauty of the way the 201s are set up is we've run into problems with these LED lights before, and they kind of create havoc with the camera. On the 201, and I've replaced it with an LED, obviously. On the 201, we don't have to have the light on to sew. It's not like this is the power button, and we've got to turn it on to give power to the motor. The motor is going to be charged up as soon as you plug it in. So if you acquire a 201-2, just be aware of that and be careful, because if you have your hand near the needle or something like that and you assume, okay, the light's off, there's no power, and you bump that foot controller, oh boy, you're going to have a bad day. You're going to have a bad day. All right, let me change us from this really fun Greek music, or whatever this music is. I like it. Let's see here. Check the camera angle. That's a pretty good camera angle. We'll get a little bit closer when we actually do the sew off. Okay. All right, so stop the dance music. Let's see, 18. All right. We're going to let it kind of warm up a little bit, because otherwise I'll run out of sewing space. I could even cue it ahead a little bit, but I think we'll just let it run. So a little bit about the setup on this machine. Let's talk about the setup on it while the 1812 is kind of warming up a little bit for us. So when you're setting this machine up to sew, oh, we're already getting excited here. I'm going to have to jump into this right away. Holy mackerel. All right, I'll do a little bit of sewing, and then I'll describe the setup. I got to stop the music for a second. You got to listen to a machine run. Hold on a second. All right, I got it muted just for a moment. Listen to this 201-2 run. Now, this is a potted driven machine. It's direct drive. If you're not familiar with the 201-2s, they don't have a belt. At least the 201-2s don't. The 201Ks do, that come out of England. And there's other 201 variations. But with this particular subclass, the Dash 2, it's going to have a direct drive potted motor. And it's going to drive a rotary hook system down here that's mounted horizontally. These don't tend to be the quietest machines to operate, especially if they're not running well. But listen to Elaine's machine run. I'm going to clip these threads real quick too. It just runs. Well, I'll let you be the judge. There, clip, clip, clip. All right, excellent. All right, listen to this machine run, and then we'll get back into the 1812. All right, I'm going to stop there. Let's get the music back on. I love this song. Here we go. I'm going to go all over the place. I'm just going to have fun. Oh, I went off course. Quick, back on, Scott, back on. Ah! I'm rusty. I haven't done this for over a month. Oh, boy. I should have done that. I should have done a practice on that before I did it, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, my goodness. Beautiful. Oh, there's where I went off course. Let's clip that real quick. So let me show you this stitching. I'll just kind of aim it like that, and we'll point the camera over that way. And again, this is not a light grade sew-off. This is about 3 to 4 ounces of saddle grade leather. And the stitching is just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I can even get a little bit closer than that, I think. I'm going to switch screens real quick. Oh, there we go. Now I can see it. I put it on the bigger screen. So if you've never sewn saddle grade leather before, it's exactly as the name would imply. It is built, or it's made and processed to be one of the toughest leathers to sew. It's designed for all of this stuff that's associated with horses and gun holsters and you name it. And the 201-2 that I prepared for Elaine's granddaughter, I mean, it was stitching through it like it was absolutely like a hot knife through butter. Beautiful stitching. The lock stitch on the back, because of the nap of the leather, it'll be a little bit harder to see, but you'll be able to catch glimpses of the stitches popping through. So this is only a little bit of a teaser. We're going to do a full-blown live stream premiere on Elaine's 201-2, and then it'll be heading towards Mississippi for one of her two granddaughters. And then you'll see another live stream following that in the next couple of weeks or so, where I will present the Queen of Singers that's also heading to Elaine in Mississippi for her other granddaughter. And I don't know how it's going to be divvied out, how they're going to decide which granddaughter gets the Rolls Royce, which granddaughter gets the Queen of Singers. I'm glad I'm not going to be there. Yes, I am. So that's how I sew. Let me mute that again. This is how I sew when I haven't been in front of the camera for about a month. So I better not do that again. I better stay consistent with the live streams so that I'm not like sewing off of the, I was all over the place. But you know what? It was fun, wasn't it? And it's great to sew off on leather like this to demonstrate the strength of our vintage machines, isn't it? So you'll see more of Elaine's Centennial. There it is. You'll see more of Elaine's Centennial 201-2 in the next couple of days, probably. I'll try to probably do it this week. And if anyone has an opinion, because I know we're getting into football season now, if anyone has an opinion on what day of the week, I would prefer to do it before Wednesday. But I know that a lot of people, I think there's like Monday Night Football or something like that. So maybe we can do this full-blown premiere on Elaine 201-2 on Tuesday or something like that. And I sometimes do the premieres during the daytime as well, so that our friends that are in Europe have a chance to join us for these live as well, because their day is much different than ours, isn't it? When I present something like around 10 o'clock in the morning, it's already, what is it, 7 or 8 hours difference. So it's already late afternoon for the folks in Europe. But anyway, watch more for, see, I can't even talk. Watch for more on this Centennial 201-2. And if you're wondering, as you're looking at this beauty, it's just gorgeous, isn't it? Just an absolutely gorgeous machine in every respect. Yes, you can see her face in there right now if you wanted to. But this is all original paint. This is all original decals. I did not replace the decals on Elaine's 201-2. I did not replace the paint either. All I did was use a special process in the paint shop to basically rough up and condition this paint to be receptive to getting brand new clear coating again. And if you look at some of the recent Facebook posts that I put up, you'll notice that I'm working on trying to get that clear coat off of some of the areas that it doesn't need to be, like around the throat plate here, so that this is at the proper level and I'm getting good feed from the feed dogs, and other areas around here, the upper tension. But even when, as many machines as I've done, hundreds, if not thousands of machines in the paint shop, as carefully as I try to mask off the machine when I'm getting ready to either paint it or clear coat it, after that comes out of the paint shop and gets back to the workshop, I usually have to spend a couple of hours at least getting those little overspray points cleaned up and cleared off so that it doesn't affect the performance of the machine. So the work, where am I? There I am. The work doesn't stop once the machine leaves the paint shop and looks all shiny and pretty. There's still additional servicing and cleanup that has to be done after it's done. All right, enough blah, 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 blah. Let's say goodbye to this, and I'll turn the light on just for a second. Let's say goodbye to this 201-2, and let's figure out what Maxwell sent from Denver, Colorado. That's our next task. Let's do that. All right. All right, almost got it set up. There we go.
I got to turn down the music a little bit and just taking a quick peek at the chat. And don't I say it all the time? I say it all the time that sometimes we're teachers, but we're always students and we can learn from each other, right? We can always, where am I? Yes, here I am. We can always, wait, we can always learn from each other. And I read, here I am. Where am I? I'm somewhere in here. There I am. Ha! So I read what Sonny wrote. I don't know about all of you, but I didn't know that the 1812 overture was commissioned to celebrate the commemoration of Russians' defense and Napoleon's army. Isn't it great to learn from each other? And that's information that otherwise we would have just thought, oh, it's a great song, isn't it? And Scott plays it when he's trying to sew in a circle. Now we know another piece of that equation, don't we? And we're always learning from each other. That's the great part of this classroom. Yeah, it is. All right, let me point this back towards what we're unboxing. There it is. I know the moderating team, the leadership team is already on it. We've got a question about a 700G. If one of you wants to provide my contact information, I'll be happy to see if I can locate those parts for that individual. So, all right. There I am. Hey, Mom. Okay. So if you just arrived, you're not late. If you just arrived, you're not late. All right, a big hint on what this machine might be. A big hint. Look at who is standing right here. And those of you that are new to this channel and you're going, who's the little wooden guy? Who is this little wooden guy? This one right here. Well, this is none other than Herr Obermeister from Deutschland, from Germany. And so right away, that tells you that it's a possibility. It's not a guarantee. It's a possibility. Sorry, Herr Obermeister, let me put you down. I'm shaking you all over the place. This will be like shaken German syndrome or something like that. So this right away tells you that there's a great likelihood that this mystery machine that came from Denver, Colorado, from Maxwell. What a great name, Maxwell. It might be from Germany originally. It might be from Germany, but a lot of models came out of Germany, right? So let's see what we find inside. And you can see already that Maxwell is, on the outside at least, using what looks like my packing method.
And if you're brand new to the channel and you're saying, well, what's unique about your packing method? Check out the playlist where I show a number of different machines being set up and being sewn on, but first of all, being packed up. I had my thought all over the place. Yeah. All right. You tell I haven't done this for a month. I'm like just really rusty. All right. So here goes the 1812 Overture, wrapping us up as we're launching into this unboxing of this mystery machine from Denver, Colorado. Is anyone else like me where when you're listening to a magnificent piece of music like this, towards the end, you start directing the orchestra as if they're actually going to follow what you're doing? I do it all the time. I do. Yep. Can't help myself. Well, at least I ended with the box being open at that music there. So that was pretty good. The search continues. Oh, touch and sew. Well, you guys, you leaders in the live chat can try to be a resource. If we run into a wall and we can't find these parts for this G series model, I had a contact down in Illinois that is like Klinger from the series MASH. He can find practically any part that there is. This guy down in Illinois can find it. And I don't know if I have his card or not. I used to have his card. See if I can find it real quick.
Where is it? Well, I won't try looking for it right now because it's going to stall us out. But I do have that contact information. If the leaders are not able to steer our friend that's looking for these elusive parts, then I'll put my friend to work down in Illinois to see if he can help. All right, let's put on some more music. Genre. Okay, now anyone that's watching the live stream right now, I'm going to read off some different genres. And if I'm not saying that right, don't be surprised. But different music. And if anyone wants to type into the live chat the style of music when I name the list that you'd like me to play next, I'll just click it and then it'll play a bunch of songs in that genre. Go ahead and do that. Type it in the chat and I'll go and pick that. So the choices are, excuse me, alternative punk. Let's see, alternative punk, ambient, children's, cinematic, classical, country and folk, dance and electric, hip hop and rap, holiday, jazz and blues, pop, R&B, soul, reggae, rock, and I think that's all of them. I'll read them again. But if you want to type the one that you would prefer that I play next, and it's going to play a series of songs that are in that little cluster of that genre or whatever it is. So alternative and punk, ambient, children's, cinematic, classical, country and folk, dance and electric, hip hop and rap, holiday, jazz and blues, pop, R&B, soul, reggae, and finally, last but not least, rock. So I'm going to look at the chat now and see if anyone has any preferences. So Emma typed in jazz and blues. Does anyone else have any strong preference? If you don't, I'll start with jazz and blues, and I can always play a couple of songs from that and then change it to something else. All right, jazz and blues. Let's see what we get. Oh yeah, that's bluesy. I'm feeling bluesy right now. So I've talked about this in other unboxings. Nothing wrong with using styrofoam, right? Nothing wrong at all. But if you're going to use styrofoam because it's so brittle, just wrap some packing tape around it different directions and it'll make it a great way to protect the machine, but it doesn't break apart then when it's being shipped. So this stuff just plus it's kind of messy too, isn't it? So just a suggestion. Kind of look inside of the box here. I'll show you kind of what the customer did. They had that styrofoam along here, and then they've got their machine right in the middle. And it looks like on the bottom we've got cardboard, but I don't know. It looks like cardboard on top of some more styrofoam. So all in all, a real good effort to try to
protect this machine that traveled from Denver, Colorado. Now, let me mute this real quick. So, muting this blues music real quick, just to ask a question. Would someone be willing to look up and type it in the chat? What is the distance from Denver, Colorado to Oconto, Wisconsin? How far did this machine travel? Certainly, we've had machines travel much greater distances. We've got that machine that is almost ready to hit the workbench, and you'll start seeing progress shots posted of it. And that is of that machine that was shipped to the workshop for repair and service from London, England. So Denver, Colorado is like around the corner compared to London, England, but it's still a good distance. So someone type into the chat. I'd just be curious to know how far it traveled. Yeah. It's raining, it's snowing. I'm gonna have to pull up the vacuum. All right, let me show you inside of the box again. See, I'm not really a clean freak, but I like things tidy. This is one of the reasons I don't like this styrofoam stuff. But I'll pull out my vacuum real quick and we'll kind of suck this stuff off so I don't get it all over the gang. The gang over here is like gonna be like, whoa, what's going on? All right, let me get it out of the box and then I'll grab the vacuum and we'll kind of tidy this up a little bit real quick. So a number of you responded as far as the distance, and thank you for that. Emma did, Michelle did. It's over 1,000 miles. I mean, it's like over 1,100 miles. A lot can happen in 1,100 miles, right? All the hands that are touching this, they're shifting it from one building to another. They're throwing it onto the cement floors. They're moving it into one truck and then shifting it to another truck on those hard metal, beds that are in the back of those vehicles. So it just goes to show you the reason we pack it with the greatest of hopes, but anticipating the possibility of disaster is because of situations like this where it's traveling over 1,100 miles. So, yeah, wow. That's a good truck. That's a good different distance. Oh, and it's taped to the bottom too. All right, let me see what I can do here. There we go. just going to mute the music again real quick. So you can see that Maxwell, in an effort to give this machine a safe ride, I talk about it all the time, that the biggest areas of impact that always concern me when I'm shipping a machine, whether I'm shipping it back to Maxwell in Denver, Colorado, whether I'm shipping it back to Maxwell in Denver, Colorado, or whether I'm shipping a machine to Heidi over in Switzerland, is protecting the bottom of the machine and the top of the machine, because as it's getting transported, what's going to happen inevitably, let me lift this up a little bit higher. What's going to happen inevitably is that machine is going to get dropped. They're going to be moving this tote around. It's a heavy tote. The worker, whether it's USPS or FedEx or UPS or whoever it is, they've had a long day. They worked really hard. And so they're not going to, even with the fragile stickers on the side, like Maxwell put, they're not going to be really, really sensitive to the feelings of that machine inside of there. So having this extra padding on the bottom is definitely a good idea. Looks like Maxwell has 2 layers. You can see the thickness of that. Probably a good, what is that, about probably about 3 inches, 3.5 inches. And it's going to provide some good protection. But when you've got a machine that has pedestal feet, see what happens as it's getting bounced around and traveling that, as Emma and Michelle had highlighted, over 1,100 miles. Those sharp metal cast pedestal feet are going to be punching through this styrofoam. You can see a punch through here. Here it's gone almost all the way through that first layer. Thankfully, Maxwell put 2 layers. But protecting those pedestal cast feet is so essential to that machine arriving safely. You can see it actually went through that first, and it started to go through the second right there. So really, if you're shipping a sewing machine that has cast pedestal type feet on it, really, really do some good padding and protection. And don't use styrofoam. Yeah, it's dirty. It's yucky. All right, music back on. Where is it? Where is it? All right, grab my vacuum cleaner to try to clean off this stuff, this here that's statically charged to it right now, because otherwise it's going to go all over the boys and it's going to get all over the workshop. So just listen to this fun music and hang in there for a second. I'll be right back.
See if I can get closer to this. I'll show you kind of what my concern is when it comes to a machine like this with those sharp pedestal feet on the bottom. See if I can lean it back a little bit here and we'll take a look. See, you would think with cardboard being this thick, it's fairly thick corrugated cardboard. It's not cheapy, flimsy stuff like you see sometimes. It's got multiple layers to it, probably a good 4 to 5 millimeters thick. And yet, bouncing around on those metal beds of the trucks and being slammed onto cement floors, it right away works its way through that layer of cardboard. So thank goodness Maxwell had those additional styrofoam layers underneath it. Otherwise, these would have gotten broken off. Hopefully they weren't damaged. There's another one right there. So just keep that in mind. If you're either shipping or if you purchase a machine, don't be shy. Say to that seller that you bought it from, I know that machine has cast pedestal feet. You better do something to protect those, because otherwise they're going to get snapped off. Remember our friend from Texas that had that 130-6 and then got another one for his sister. And God bless him, he just recently passed away. And one of his legs on his 130-6 coming to the workshop got snapped off. And I had to do a repair on it. There's another one that punched through right there. You can see that. All three of those came right through the bottom of that cardboard. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to give you guys a real big clue here. I'm going to fold this down and show you the bottom of the machine, and you're going to be able to really have an idea of what kind of German machine this might be, especially if you can read upside down right there. Yeah. And you'll notice, unlike the 130-6s, and see, this is one of the, I'm going to rant for a little while on the people that love to use styrofoam. It gets into all the parts of the machine too, up into the pillar area over here. It gets even between the cleats of the timing belt that's right here. So it sticks to everything, doesn't it? You know I'm going to grab that vacuum again. I'm going to grab that vacuum again and go after this stuff. Ah! So, yeah, you can see, obviously, that is if you can't read upside down or sideways, it's clearly going to be a FOF, right? From Western Germany. But what model is this? What model do you think this is? One of the big clues is the hook system is actually facing towards the front. You can see it right there. It's facing towards the front of the machine. Only certain models that FOF made that were vintage had the raceway facing towards the front. A lot of them had it facing towards the side. Yeah, there's a big clue. All right, so I'm going to put on some more music, and then we will, there's another shot of it right there. And you can see Maxwell really did make an effort, create a lot of protection around this machine. This machine is important to Maxwell, and he really tried to build a nice fortress around it, didn't he? Really quite nice, quite excellent. Just get rid of the styrofoam, Maxwell. Get rid of the styrofoam. All right, some more music while I'm grabbing the vacuum again. Let's set it right here for right now. I'll just, you know what I'll do real quick before I grab the vacuum? I'll show you this side of it as well. I showed you the other side with the legs punching through, but I didn't show you this side. You know, just give you an idea of how sharp these little legs are. Just checking real quick to make sure we don't have any that have they can develop a little hairline crack if they take an impact as well. But yeah, never assume that a single layer of cardboard is enough. You can see that it wasn't. And this machine only traveled about 1,100 miles. And look at what it did to this cardboard. All right, vacuum time. All right, so we know that I have the front facing down based on the orientation of the FOF inscription on the bottom. So I'm going to see if I can carefully turn this machine over first of all and then rotate it around. I'm thinking the way this feels, this might just lift off. I'm going to see if I can just pull it straight up. I'll give you a little peek underneath there. So you can see what Maxwell did is he created that little cocoon underneath here, and then he created this extra layer of a combination of styrofoam and a couple layers of bubble wrap. So he's got this interior, he's got the barrier on the bottom with that styrofoam for these pedestal feet, like that one right there. And then he's got this exterior little canopy as well with a fairly thick layer of styrofoam and then this extra bubble wrap. So not a bad design at all. Not bad at all. I always say though, see how I'm kind of touching this and it's kind of popping in and out? Take this bubble wrap and always strap it down with stretch wrap so that this adheres to the body of that machine and it's going to provide a lot better padding and protection. You want to mold it right to that machine, just like you've seen me doing the videos, and then put the packing tape over that. See how this is kind of, it's not really tight. So that's the only thing I would offer as a suggestion, because we know we're always trying to improve, right? I don't have it as good, today as I will tomorrow. I'll keep improving my processes, whether it's packing or servicing and optimizing machines or whatever it is. It's that Kanai. And if one of the leaders would be willing to type in the chat for our new folks, what does Kanai stand for? It's a principle of this workshop. C-A-N-I, C-A-N-I.
And that way you can appreciate that as good as my methods are, as world renowned as the work that we do in the workshop is, it's going to get better. We haven't arrived. We have not arrived. We're going to be better tomorrow. We're going to be better the week after. We're going to be better the month after and the year after. It's always going to improve. So, all in all, a very good packing effort by Maxwell out of Denver, Colorado. People in Denver, Colorado know what it's about, you know? I'm going to protect that machine, and he did an excellent job. Excellent job. All right, so let's see if we can get that little canopy off, and we'll get to the actual machine. That would be great. All right, let me angle that down. Get a little bit more music going. Yeah, we're still doing blues and jazz. So if anybody wants to type in the chat and say, yo, go from blues and jazz to rock and roll or to disco or who knows what, I have no idea. Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like Susie out of the great state of Minnesota was the first one to nail it, and then Emma jumped in as well. Constant and never-ending improvement is what Kanai means. We're always getting better. Yeah. It really is. That's really quite awesome, isn't it? Maxwell did an excellent job. A lot of protection there, a lot of protection. Nice job. Nice job. Anybody else doing this in the background right now? Oh, it ended. I was going to start doing this. Yeah, I love blues and jazz. And some of the best blues and jazz that I've listened to, and I'm sure there's other areas that do it just as well, but anyone who's ever been down to New Orleans, boy, do they have jazz down in New Orleans. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to pull up the vacuum again. Oh, Herr Obermeister, you went down. Oh, that's safer like that. Definitely safer like that. Yeah. Oh, almost did it again. All right, I'll put him down. I'm going to get nasty notes about abusing Herr Obermeister. right, there we go.
All right, I'm going to give you a close peek at it. See if anyone can guess what model this is. I didn't look at the chat real closely. So if anyone typed a guess in as to what model Thoth this might be, and this would have been made right around in the mid 1950s, 1953 to 1957, in that general range. If that helps you even more. I'll give you a little peek of it here. What a great song. What a great song. So I'm not going to unveil this part because obviously on the front of the Thoth, they're usually going to put the model number very prominently. But here's a glimpse of it. See if you want to spitball some guesses as to what model this might be that Maxwell sent to the workshop from the great state of Colorado. Great state of Colorado. I'll give you a little peek underneath there. See some of the controls up here. Any of you that wondered if Sunny is super duper amazingly smart and that's why she's on the leadership team? Well, all the other leaders are incredibly smart too, but Sunny is in the right neck of the woods with her guesses. Yes, she is. Sunny's in the right neck of the woods. So if you didn't look at what Sunny typed in the live chat, take a look at it right now, because she is in the right neck of the woods. Yes, she is. Ha-ha! Yes. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not helping. Whoa, whoa. Yes. Ah! I've never done this before in a live stream. We're totally upside down. Oh, right. Turn back, turn back, turn back, turn back. Yes. Go, 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 go. No, you don't stop there. Keep going. Going. No, the other way. The other way. Mr. Bean, what are you doing? Ah, come on. Yes, there we go. All right. Excellent. So yeah, Sunny's in the right neck of the woods. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. I don't know if she's going to narrow it down even more. I don't know if she'll narrow it down more, but I say it all the time. The leaders that help support what we do on the channel here, and then Bill, of course, helping me on Facebook and such. Smartest people in the world in this classroom, especially, you know, as we learn from each other through each of these experiences, don't we? We learn through each of these experiences. Yes, we do. So, a needle pulling thread. No, that's a different movie. There it is. We're almost there, and Sunny is, oh my gosh. So what do we do next? What do we do next? Oh, wow, there it is. Ugh. All right. All right, let's take more of this off. And if anyone wants to look at what Sunny posted in the live chat and say, all right, I'm gonna just go for it. And I'm gonna say it's this model in the 200 series. Yeah, it's this model in the 200 series. And then maybe you just guessed, but you still were right. You know what I mean? Anyone courageous? Anyone sitting in the shadows right now that hasn't joined the live chat that says, this is my opportunity to shine. This is my opportunity to show, yes, I'm a student, but I'm also a leader, and I'm going to step out and take a risk. And I'm going to type in the live chat. It is a model, whatever it is. Yep, 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 yep. You never know.
Take a risk. Be courageous. Right as the song is coming to an end, you only have a few seconds. A few seconds. Come on. Oh, what great jazz. What great jazz. Jazz and blues. Give me another one. Give me another one. Come on. That last one was called By the Fireplace, by the way, if you wondered. This one is called Busy City. Busy City. So if you live in a bigger city like Denver, Colorado, like Maxwell, I think that Denver's a pretty good sized city, isn't it? Does anyone know the population of Denver, Colorado, where this machine came from? What's the population in Denver, Colorado? And do not count cats and dogs and chipmunks. Leave those out. Leave them out. Yeah. And no, I don't have anything against dogs, cats, and chipmunks, but let's just go with the people. And if you want to count a pregnant lady twice, I'm good. I'm good with that. Unless any of the leaders object. If any of the leaders right now that are here object and say, no, a pregnant person, you can only count them once, then okay, I'll go with that. I'm flexible. I'm flexible. Whatever you want to. Yeah. Okay. So what is the population of Denver, Colorado? Someone's got to know. Maybe they don't tell us the population. No one knows. Maybe no one knows. What? Are you serious? Typed in 5.7 million people live in Denver, Colorado. Is that real? Almost 6 million people. So that's like 4.5 to 5 times the size of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Holy mackerel, that's a lot of people living in Denver. Jiminy crickets. Wow. I didn't know. I thought Denver was like a couple 100,000 or something. Wow. Boy, that ended real quick. That ended really quick. I'm being naughty. I'm putting a piece of painter's tape over the model number. So once we take all of this stuff off, you're still not going to be able to see the number. And then you'll have to decide what your guess is. Again, I would look towards Sunny. Sunny and they always show how smart they are in these premieres, along with Emma and Michelle and oh my gosh, I'm just totally blanking. I'm blanking on everybody. Bill and oh gosh, Paula. Help me out, guys. Help me out. I've been off for a month. I've been working, but I haven't been in front of the camera, so I'm like, I don't remember my name anymore. All right. More blues music. It's got to help us. It's got to help us in some way. Oh, Emma, the whole state has 5.7 million. So Colorado are you saying Colorado has 5.7 million people? I was just looking for the population of the city of Denver, Colorado. So someone help Emma out, because I think Emma had either one too many or one too few cups of coffee this morning. I know she's a coffee drinker and she likes her bagel in the morning. I know secrets about Emma. Yes, I do. But I'm just looking for the population of Denver, Colorado, just the city, not the entire state. So that makes, wow, okay, Denver is not 5.7 million then, thank God. I was thinking, wow, everybody moved there. Maybe they're giving away free popsicles or something. You never know. Okay, so Denver's about the same size as Milwaukee, Wisconsin then. About 700,000 people, a little bit shy of 1 million. A little bit shy of 1 million. So, but that's still a big city in my book, isn't it? Yeah, it is. All right, let's get the rest of this off and take a look at Maxwell's machine. So I'm gonna get close to the machine real quick and just show you something. You can see how over here I was naughty. And I put painter's tape over the model number right here. But I used painter's tape. What the person that packed Maxwell's machine, either Maxwell or someone else, they used packing tape right on the surface of the machine. And I realized that this is more of it's almost kind of a what do they call it, Godzilla type finish, but it doesn't have the texture, so it's not as prone to get damaged. But don't use packing tape. Wait, where'd it go? Don't use packing tape right on the surface of the machine. Don't use packing tape. Use painter's tape. Yeah. This is okay for outside, but don't put it on the inside. So again, you can kind of see as the machine is getting bounced around, right, in transport. Even plastic controls like this is control E on the machine, E like echo. Even control E kind of embedded itself into this styrofoam along with some of the other parts of the top of the machine that are a little bit more delicate. So my suggestion, and it's only a suggestion, is if you're going to use styrofoam, use it as like a middle type barrier. Don't use it directly against the machine. Use bubble wrap. The bubble wrap is going to provide a little bit better cushion. This stuff here, better cushions than this stuff. This is going to be a little bit more rigid, especially against plastic parts. Like controls up here, control E. This is control E on the machine. And stuff like this can crack. Over time, plastic becomes more brittle, any of these plastic pieces. So put your bubble wrap against this, and then you can always create that additional barrier of styrofoam like this on the other side of the bubble wrap. That's what I would recommend. That's what I would suggest. All right, a little bit more jazz, and we're gonna start to wrap this up. I was planning on going probably about an hour and a half, and we're at that marker right now, and we're not in a big rush. We're not in a big rush. Yeah, we're not in a big rush. So let's see what Emma typed here. The only guesses we've gotten is what Sunny wrote. Sunny wrote above. She said either a model 230 or a 232. And then Emma is saying maybe a 229. Maybe this is a 229. I could be totally, let me put on some more music. I actually have a 229 that was shipped from, I believe it came from Canada, and it's going to be serviced and repaired. I'm going to bring a 229 down real quick from my overflow area and set it right here. And that way you'll be able to see my blue glasses and say, wow, those are a fashion statement, buddy. These are really a fashion statement. I'm going to put a 229 on the workbench right here next to Maxwell's machine. And then we can, since Emma brought it up, because we don't talk a lot about the FOF 229, then we can actually see them side by side once this one is totally unveiled. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, I think so. Let go. All right. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this 229 on the left side over here. There we go. Come over a little bit further this way. And obviously this one also needs an upper tension. Move it over a little bit closer. Yeah, see it even the styrofoam gets jammed in between the discs that are part of the upper tension on these as well. So Emma's guess is really impressive because we don't talk about the 229 very often. And if any of you understand, the basic German, just basic German stuff, the 229 in German would be said 229. 229. You'll notice as I'm pointing at the numbers that when the Germans say a number that has 3 digits like this, they're actually going to flip these last 2 numbers. So if 9 is 9 and 2 is 2, then when you say it, it's 229. You wouldn't say it like we would say it, 229. You would say 200, and really you're flipping them. You're saying 92, but in the German language, they're flipped already. So it's 529. So, but if you look at the attributes of this very troubled FOF 229 out of, I think it's Ontario, Canada is where this one came from. It's got, I talked about how delicate the plastic is. You can see we're cracked up here. We're missing an upper tension. Got all kinds of stuff going on with this machine. But if you look at the basic attributes of the two machines side by side, maybe this is a 229, but I can tell you that it's not. And that's the tricky thing about the FOF machines is they will change within the series, the 200 series, and they'll make some real subtle changes. They might go from, okay, we're tired of having a black knob. I think we'll do a white knob. Or we got too much white on this machine. Let's put a black knob on that machine. And they'll make real subtle changes. Kind of like, I don't want to have a white button to turn the light on. I don't want to have a black button or a dark brown button to turn the light on. I want to have a white one. Yeah, real subtle little changes, and yet they'll change the entire model number of the machine. So I can tell you that Emma's guess was amazing. Amazing guess. But while they share so much in common as you look at them, so much in common, they're like brothers, nearly twin brothers. This is not a 229. It's not a 229. And they even share the same motor drive system style. See this on the side? You've got an encased cover to protect the belt, and then you've got the motor mounted on the rear. These are generally going to come with a 1.3 amp motor. Same style, same motor, different models. And if you didn't know it, if you've thought about getting one of these and you're like, well, how do you get the top off? There's no bolts, there's no screws to take out. Just wiggle it. Doing this with one hand, hopefully I can get it off. Yeah. Just wiggle it and you can just take the entire top off for servicing. And as we look at the machine, you can see that the Germans want to highlight the key oiling points. There's certainly a lot more oiling points than just the ones that they highlight in red, like this one, and that one. But they try to make it, they try to give you some assistance there in knowing what you're looking for. And then as far as the built-in cam features, because there are no cams in either one of these machines that you have to insert, the cams are built into this cam stack right here. And then the cam stack gets its message of what to do in fine-tuning those stitches from these little fine tuners right here. And depending on how you adjust these screws on the end, these right here, these 2 rows right here are set screws. You don't have to do anything with those, but these are going to change the pitch
of these little arms so it reads the output of the cams, and then it makes them exactly the way you want it, the look of the cam output. So we've got 4 fine tuners on this model. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 fine tuners. What do we have on this one, the 229? Can it be exactly the same? It's not. They tricked us. On this one, the 229 that I brought out of the overflow area because Emma had said, maybe Maxwell's is a 229. Here we've got a little bit of a different setup. We've got 3 fine tuners, similar cam stack, similar controls for cam output, but here we've got only 3 fine tuners, and Maxwell's has 4. So some of the little nuances as you go through these models, they're going to look really close, but FOF would make certain subtle changes between the 2 models, either in the mechanics and the cam output, or in just the basic features of the machine. Something as subtle as the color that's used for the control knob. I think this is control knob D. And if any of you watching this live stream right now go, hey, I've got a 229, but I don't know how to adjust it for the stitches to get the cam output from this machine. Or I've got this machine over here that belongs to Maxwell. I don't know how to adjust it, all these little knobs and doodads to get that cam output for a specific stitch that I want to sew. I've got great news for you. On the Cow Country channel, if you go under playlists and look for FOF stitch cards, what I did is I took each one of those stitch positions on a stitch card and I took a picture of it, and then I put it into a video presentation. So it scrolls through, it shows you the stitch, it shows you the setting that you need. So, and that covers a number of the machines for FOF. I believe it also covers the 332 as well, but you can check that out on the playlist. So the mystery thickens, right? The mystery thickens. We're looking at the mechanics, and the mechanics are different. We're looking at the features, and gosh, they're almost identical. So what is this model? Any final guesses? I put on a little bit more jazz music, and then I'll go ahead and peel off that painter's tape, and you can finally see what model this is that Maxwell sent from Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado. Which, for clarification, again, for any of you watching this, Denver does not have a population of almost 6 million. Although they'd probably like to tell you that. They're about 700,000. So still a very big city. Very big city. Ooh! Get ready to rock, baby! Yeah. I know they can see my hand. I know they can see my hand. I know. All right. So let's finally get this tape peeled off. So the mystery model that came out of Denver, Colorado is in fact a Model 230. It immediately followed this other one that Emma had said, I think it's probably that one. And doesn't it make sense that if they were that close in the 200 series for FOF, that they would share a lot of the same attributes, just real subtle differences. And a couple little modifications and changes
in the cam stack performance to give that machine greater capabilities. And that ties into our Kanai principle, doesn't it? The Pfaff Sewing Machine Company was committed as well to constant and never-ending improvement. So they would take a model 229, which was fabulous, and they would make it even better with enhancing the features of the cam stack and the stitches that were available to the customer, or other subtle features that would make the machine just a little bit better. So I'm going to set the camera down. We'll move this 229 to the side a little bit, and then we'll take a really close look at Maxwell's machine. And one of the things I can see already that I'm going to have to deal with, and it's very common, is this plastic, like I said, eventually becomes brittle. And you can see a crack starting right at the middle point here, reaching out. And then another crack on this side, kind of reaching that way. So eventually what's going to happen if something isn't done, you know, obviously the simplest option is just to change the knob to see if I've got a parts machine where I would be able to put a brand new, well, not a brand new, but a very, very nice non-cracked knob onto Maxwell's machine. Or I can use a very careful process of a real fine needle and inject some basically epoxy in there to stabilize it. Obviously, I would take it off and would treat it from the inside and the outside. So we'll have to see what happens with that. See what happens with that. But these do develop cracks. There's also a crack vertically right there as well, if you look at it right there. So will this, if I don't do a thing with this knob, which obviously I will do something with the knob, but if I don't do something with the knob, this eventually is going to fail and it's just going to crack completely off. So we'll figure out the best plan and we'll do that. All right, let me put on a little bit more music and we'll wrap this live stream up after we take a little bit closer look at Maxwell's Model 230. And those of you that like learning like I do, because I'm a student just like you, those of you that love learning, you love learning new things. I will teach you again or reinforce again how you can say these models in German so that if you have a group and you want to really impress them and they're saying, yeah, that's a model 229, that's a model 230. And you go, well, that's true. But this 229 in German is 220. And this model over here that Maxwell sent to the workshop is a model 230, or in German, it's a model 230. 230, 229. So this is a little bit easier to say, isn't it, than this one? But they're both great machines, and they were right in sequence as far as manufacturing. This one came out a little bit earlier, probably around 1952. This one came out between 1953 and 1955, approximately. The Germans, like other companies, don't always maintain the best records. So they're both from the 1950s. This just came out just a tiny little bit earlier. All right, what do we got here? So what I'm laying out here in front of you, bring that volume down just a little bit so I don't have to shout, lose my voice. All right. So obviously we have what is a Mercury. This is a Mercury style foot controller. It was used a lot with the Japanese machines as well. There's nothing wrong with this particular foot controller as long as the amperage is going to be able to support the output of this motor. I'm going to kind of put it like this and see if I'm able to read this. Sometimes they stamp these and it's just a booger to read, isn't it? Let's see what this is rated up to. Listed 2290 speed control or sewing motors. Rated, okay. So this is rated 1.2 amps, it looks like. 1.2 amps, it's right there, 115 volts. So generally, this foot controller can probably get the job done because, again, the motor on the back of these is typically going to be a 1.3 amp. The ideal situation is your foot controller should be rated higher than your motor because the foot controller acts as a gateway for the electricity as it flows through this, and you regulate the speed and basically increase or decrease through a rheostat the amount of electricity that's fed to that motor. So you want the foot controller to have a little bit higher tolerance than the motor so that it can manage that. The result of not having a higher amperage on the foot controller, when it's rated at 1.2, you're probably not going to have any major consequences. But let's say when we read the back of this foot controller, it was only rated like a Singer foot controller, one of the Bakelite ones, at what amount? I'm gonna let you guys answer that because you're real smart and you're really excellent students and fellow teachers. If this were a Bakelite style foot controller that they had set up for this FOF 230 500 dry stick, what is the typical rating on a Bakelite style foot controller? Does anyone know? Kind of looking at the live chat. And here Obermeister, you can't hear him, but he's over here going da 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 dum bum 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 bum. All right, so no one's typed it in the chat yet. If this were a Bakelite style foot controller like they typically use on a lot of the Singer machines, everything from the featherweight to the 201-2, it would only be rated at 0.7 amps, 0.70. That would not be a good choice for a machine like this or a machine like this that has a 1.3 amp motor on the back of it. This Mercury style one that's rated for 1.2 amps is close enough. You can probably go ahead and continue to use it. But if you run the machine, let's say you're doing a lot of straight stitching and long lines, kind of like my friend that does upholstery work. And I sold him a couple of Swedish beauties to do his upholstery work. He's doing a lot of long seams, kind of like on covers for boats and things like that. And he's going to be running that machine at very high RPMs over an extended period of time. If that were the case with this FOF 230, then this foot controller might start to heat up. It might start to get a little bit warm and might even move towards getting hot, depending on your sewing environment. Let's say you're out in a pull shed and there's no air conditioning,
And it's like it is in Wisconsin today, around 93, 94 degrees. And you're operating something like this at max speed, all the way down, almost pedal to the metal for an extended period of time, foot controller is going to start to get hot. And the problem with foot controllers like this getting hot is that they have a ceramic innard on it that can start to develop cracks if that heat is too intense. And that's part of the reason that FOF developed this special foot controller for machines like these. I call it the bus foot controller. And it's got a tolerance for amperage that is probably close to 2 amps, well above what the motor would demand. And that's why the Germans would supply a foot controller like this for these types of machines. So if you've got a Mercury style one and it's rated for 1.2, you're probably going to be fine. But just be aware that as a general rule, you want the foot controller to have a higher amperage tolerance than the motor itself. Higher amperage tolerance, yeah, higher amperage tolerance than the motor. Oh boy, I better end this live stream while I can still talk, right, Herr Obermeister? Yeah. Okay. So let's walk around this machine a little bit and then we're going to wrap up this live stream. Move these foot controllers to the side. So a basic look at this machine as we're kind of studying it here. Feed dog drop is going to be right over here. You're going to rotate this to the front. Give me 1 second here. So you can see I rotated it. They just pop back up. They're in the up position right now. We kind of rotate this to the front. You can watch them drop. I'll kind of push this and you get close to the feed dogs. They just drop down, and that way you can do free motion quilting. You can do freehand embroidery. You rotate it here, and then as soon as you start rotating that balance wheel, you'll see that they pop back up in full. Once we rotate that back to, what would that be? I guess that would be like the 3 o'clock. Think about it like a clock, 3 o'clock position. To drop them, you go down to the 6 o'clock position in that general range. Talked about this already. This is to turn the light on. This control over here is going to give you control over everything from stitch length with this little lever control up here. And again, the FOFs are going to be comparable to a Swedish machine. They're going to go all the way from about 5 stitches per inch down to about 30 stitches per inch. And then this control here is going to allow you to reverse the machine to finish off seams in that. Up here, we've got all kinds of controls. Everything from this one right here that's going to give you needle position. You're going to kind of push it in and then rotate this control up and down. And then you kind of release it. And then it'll stay wherever you've got it. So if you want a far right needle position, you're going to have this at the lowest position. Then it's got a mid-range right about there. I'm doing this with one hand, so it may not be exact. This is going to give you a center needle position right there. And then if you want a left needle position, you push it all the way to the highest point. And then your needle's going to be all the way to the left. This knob in the middle right here that's cracked so badly, this is going to be your stitch width. So if we want to do a straight stitch, we have it over on 0. If we want to do a zigzag, or if we want to do one of the other cam generated stitches, we're going to move it somewhere between 1 and 4, like so. This little adjuster right here is going to basically set a boundary as far as how wide you can go with a stitch. It's going to be a stop point, and depending on where you adjust this, you can see this little part coming out here. It's going to kind of retard the movement of this stitch width, so that if you're working with a specific project and a specific stitch width, some machines, as you're sewing with the vibration, this will tend to kind of move a little bit. And if you don't want that to happen and throw you off, then you kind of adjust this and it'll lock that in. This is part of the cam function. It's going to be turning the cam and setting the different stitch outputs. I don't remember off the top of my head. This might be setting C. I'd have to grab one of the cam. Let me see if I can grab one real quick, and then we don't have to guess. Hold on 1 second.
Where did I put my stitch cards? Here we go. So these are some of the stitch cards that I've got for machines in my personal collection. And this is what I took pictures of and I put on my YouTube channel, the Cow Country YouTube channel, in still shots, so that someone that doesn't have the benefit of a stitch card like this can go to that video and they can actually look at all of these stitches, and then it'll show the accompanying setting that you need in order to generate that stitch output. And you can see that this particular stitch card does in fact cover Maxwell's machine. It covers the model 230, it covers the model 332, and it also covers the model 338. So this stitch card would not apply to the 229. I don't know if I have a stitch card for the 229. It's possible I do. And the way they do these stitch cards, if you didn't know it, is on one side, just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, on one side, this is going to be for single needle sewing. And then when you turn it over, so the settings are going to be a little bit different, obviously. This is going to be for single needle sewing. And then if you turn it over, it's going to give you the setting for dual needle sewing. And I may have that reversed. I'd have to check it, check it. I don't look at these cards all the time, but one side is going to be single needle, one side is going to be dual needle, and the settings will be entirely different. And you can use it again on these three models. Let's see. So this is a different FOF stitch card, and this one does not cover the 229 either. This covers the, as you can see in the shot, I think, it covers the FOF 260, 262, model 360, model 362, and finally the model 368. So yeah, I don't have a stitch card for the 229, and I don't remember if I had one at one time and I posted it on the YouTube channel or not. But if you look for that playlist that basically says FOF stitch cards, you can let me know whether or not we've got one, and I can see if I can track one down. And it's very time consuming, obviously, to take a picture of every one of these stitches for both sides of the card and then build them into a video. But if someone can help me track down a 229 stitch card, I'd be willing to do that. I'd be willing to do that. So, back to our original thing. So as we're looking at the model 230, as far as the controls, this is going to be control C down here. That controls needle position. The center one, I think I got that one right, is going to be control D. This is going to be control B up here. And then finally, all the way on the top, this is going to be control E. And it's important you know what the letters are with the controls, because that's how you're going to know how to set the stitch card, either from an actual stitch card like this or from watching the video on my YouTube channel. So control E, control B, control C, and control D. And these don't have a specific control letter for them. This right here is going to lower the light, so you can change out the bulb. You kind of rotate it, it drops it down in the housing, and then you can change that out. Oh, and I missed one, didn't I? I missed one. Control A is up here. Right here. There it is. So now I'll kind of test myself, see if I can get it right. I doubt it. Control A, Control B, Control C, Control D, and finally Control E up on top. Yeah. All right. I'm going to ring the bell since I got that right. And yes, I was looking at the stitch card to make sure I didn't goof up. All right. A little bit more music and let's wrap this up. Did I goof something up? Maybe I did. All right, let's just walk around this machine. Wrap this up real quick here because we've been running. Let me see. We've been running over 2 hours, and I didn't plan on running this long since we didn't totally present at Lanes 201-2. We just kind of did that quick little sewing around with the 1812 Overture, and then I went up and I got this 229 because Emma made a great guess as far as the model. So we ran a little bit longer, and thank you to all of you that have kind of persevered and stuck it out. I'm very grateful for your patience. So I think I kind of walked you around the machine a little bit already. This is obviously going to be a front load bobbin. If I kind of tilt it back a little bit right here, kind of see that right there. It's going to be a front load bobbin. So obviously when you insert the needle on this machine, you're going to have the flat side to the rear, which would be a little bit different. No, a 229 is set up the same way. So on the 229 and on the 230, you're going to be setting your needle with the flat side to the rear. And then you're going to be obviously threading from front to back. I won't cover the threading of this machine right now. When I actually get done with Maxwell's machine, we'll go ahead and look at the threading of that. What else? Oh, I'll give you, this has come up as a question a couple of times. Let me take the top off one more time. This has come up as a question a couple of times is you can obviously service the machine from the top. You can service the bottom of the machine. How do you get to the faceplate? It's a lot easier than you might think. You just take the top off like I did, and then you can see that little bolt right there, this one. Hold on one second. This little bolt right here. That little bolt right there, you rotate it lefty-loosey, counterclockwise. It's going to allow you to take this entire faceplate off to service all of those essential components inside of there. In the same way, this little bolt over here that I'm pointing at right now, this one right here, that's going to allow you to increase or decrease presser foot pressure. So obviously, if you turn it clockwise, you're going to increase the presser foot pressure. If you turn this counterclockwise, you're going to decrease it. So the simple rule, again, if you're sewing something heavier, multiple layers, or heavy leather, you're going to turn this clockwise and increase it. If you're sewing on cottons and lighter materials, you're going to turn it counterclockwise to decrease that presser foot pressure. So again, don't mistake these two. This one's going to allow you to take the faceplate off to service the machine. This one is going to allow you to increase and decrease presser foot pressure. And whenever you're adjusting presser foot pressure, generally you want to have that presser foot lever in the down position. It's because of the mechanics of the machine. It'll allow you to make the adjustment more easily, and it actually puts less stress on the parts that are inside. Yeah. What else? Kind of rotate her around a little bit here. And don't feel like you have to lift the machine with one arm like I'm doing. It's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy machine for sure. So here's our motor on the back. And you can see if I kind of brush the dust off a little bit, I get real close. At the top, you can read the amperage rating on it, 1.3. So again, our foot control is a little bit underrated, but it's close enough that Maxwell should not have any issues operating the machine. I could go over a lot more of this stuff, but I'll probably cover that when we... Oh, wow, that's not going to work well, is it? See how loose? That's actually totally loose. See? You engage the bobbin winding tire. You're going to push that to the rear of the machine. Then it makes contact with the inside of the rim of the balance wheel right there. But right now, this is... Yeah, that's not going to work well. Ah. So Maxwell, if you were trying to wind a bobbin and it just wouldn't quite, that's why. Yeah. We'll see what else we find loose on the machine during another live stream when we actually present this machine. So yeah, I think that's enough.
let's wrap it up. So again, when you look at models, they're going to have a lot of similarities, just like this model 229 and this model 230. And I want to thank Maxwell from Denver, Colorado, in sending this machine to the workshop. It's not going to get on the workbench right away. I've got a lot of machines waiting, but eventually, and then you'll have a chance to see this great machine do its dance. So with that, thank you to everybody. Thank you to the moderating team, the leadership team, for taking such good care of our family. Thank you to all new family members that have joined us for the very first time. And, keep watch, because I've got a lot of machines coming up that are going to be live streamed. And you'll have a chance to see some new machines and some machines that are pretty familiar on this channel, kind of like this 201-2 that's going to be heading to Mississippi soon. So, all right, with that, thank you again. God bless. And thank you for your patience as I was gone for about a month. A month. Crazy. Time passes too quick. All right. Let's get that turned a little bit, get a little bit of music on, and y'all can wrap up your chats if you're chatting with somebody. And have a great rest of your weekend. And if there's any questions that popped up in the live chat that I missed somehow, I know the moderating team caught them. And if they were able to answer them, they did. If they weren't, then just reach out afterwards. And I'll type I get text messages from people around the world. So you can, wherever you're at, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and you can contact me at this number. 393. There we go. You can call me or you can text me at that number if you have questions that you need answered. And if I don't know the answers, guess what? I'll probably reach out to some of my fellow leaders, as I oftentimes do, and we work as a team to try to get answers for folks that are, looking for whatever it is. We get all kinds of questions and answers that come up. So, all right. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care. Yep, I was just reading, see if anything I need. Okay, perfect. All right, a little bit of music to wrap us up. A little bit of blues and jazz to send you into your weekend. All right, take care, everybody.
Well, again, have a great weekend. And I'm going to end the live stream now, but the live chat will stay active for a little bit. So if you're saying your goodbyes or you want to share any final comments or anything like that, once I end the live stream, you can still do it for a little bit. So have at it. Do it. Have fun. See ya.